So here's Neil. Neil's in Collingwood, Ontario. Neil's actual goal every year is to have 15 meetings a week for 44 weeks. And he's been very successful in doing that the last 2 or 3 years. They actually track it. You know, they always say whatever you measure always improves. They track how many meetings he has. So that's 660 meetings with clients, prospects, potential centers of influence. Do you think there's a fair chance he'd be successful with those kind of numbers? Absolutely. And so he's leveraged himself. Here's an example of someone who's really leveraged himself to make sure that that happens. In a way, this is a complicated business, and in a way, this is a simple business. But one of the simplicities of it is you get in front of the people. How many of you heard Bruce Etherington speak? Okay, what does he say? See the people, right? And so you got to get in front of the people, and if you happen to be able to get in front of the right people, you're really off to the races. That ideal client that we talked about. Another thing that I notice these $1 million businesses do, and I would say that probably we've had as much impact on these folks as anything, is they have financial strategies. I mean, when you got $1 million of revenue coming through your fingertips, you think, wow, you know, you can be pretty loose and fence with it. But the reality is that people that have more successful businesses are actually more attentive to their financials. So they track some numbers and they understand the ratios. We have a tool called the Personal Coach Planner. And by the way, in this brochure, we are going to have some webinars on the Personal Coach Planner. I think it's $49, which actually helps you with the whole building a plan, strategies. Do we have dates set for that, Kelly?
Yep, December 14th and January 13th.
Okay, so we've got a couple dates. So if you're interested in that, if you just write that into this brochure, Kelly will make sure that you get invited to that webinar. But this really helps you to understand kind of your ratios, what you should be spending in terms of your business. I had one client earlier on this year who really wasn't keeping really good track of his financials, so we put him together, and he believed that he was over-investing. The reality was he was under-investing. And so we tried to help him take it to a different level. Because, you know, if you can invest $1 and get back 3 or 4, it's a pretty good business decision, isn't it? Pretty good. In fact, it's a better investment, I think, than what you can get in the market today. I mean, not all agree. So understanding your financials around your expenses, your profitability, and your ratios. All of our clients send us their P&Ls every month, so they have a P&L. So I can tell you, based upon the kind of business you've got, what your ratio should be based upon your expenses versus your revenue. And so we've got quite a database around that. And you know, what your profitability should be, etc. Some of you may be thinking about, should I invest in making a hire? Remember that job to-do list that we had and the number of hats? You get to a point on your S-curve where you say, you know what, there's probably a number of things that I could delegate out which would allow me to spend more time doing what I'm supposed to be doing as an advisor, hit that 60% rate in terms of actual face-to-face meetings. And so here's a little analogy that I've done. If you're spending 80% of your time doing $20 an hour jobs, and 20% of your time doing $200 an hour jobs, that being the advisor role, I think we'd all agree the advisor role has got a higher value, then your revenue would be about $100,000. If on the other hand, you could flip that ratio around where you're spending 20% doing $20 an hour jobs and 80% doing $200 an hour jobs, your revenue is $295, difference of $194. So would you invest $40,000 or $50,000 to get $194? Of course you would. And so that's always one of the issues you got to deal with. And you know, who's the king of delegation? How many of you have actually had a phone call from your dentist booking an appointment? How many of you had your dentist complete your last bill? How many of you had your dentist clean your teeth? Okay? They are the ultimate in terms of delegation. They've got it figured out in terms of doing what they're paid to do, and that is being a dentist. So my buddy Neil in Collingwood, Neil has this expression which he uses with his team all the time. Neil only does what only Neil can do. So Neil's not expecting his staff to sell, to prospect, provide advice. That's his job. So if they get clear, if it's something that only Neil can do, Neil does it. If it's something anyone can do, then the staff take over. And that's very empowering. And there's some delegation tips there that you can look at as you're looking at your business. You know, job description, clear division of duties. You know, if it's not done properly, turn it back. Make it a learning experience with your staff. Have a clear outcome. Stop doing things that drain your energy. Like doing paperwork drains my energy. So I try not to do too much paperwork. Stay away from things you're not good at. Hopefully you're good at being an advisor. And here's the other thing. Introduce your team members to your clients. When a client phones in and they want a banking change or they want this, they don't care whether you do it. They just want it done. And your most successful clients are probably people in business. They understand that you don't need to be doing that type of thing. So make sure that they know who to go to for their client service issues.